Even if you're not going through a crisis or a big life-altering event in your life right now, you probably know somebody who is. Over the years, the people in your life, they're gonna have babies, maybe adopt or do foster care, go through health challenges, move, start new jobs. There's so many things like that that really disrupt our lives. And when we have people who surround us and help us, it makes it so much easier to go through these things when we're not alone and have to fight through everything all by ourselves. No matter what is going on in our lives, we all have to eat on a regular basis. Just because you're going through a lot of change or experiencing trauma or loss doesn't mean you get to take a break from food until everything settles down. That is not how it works. Food is such a great way that we can practically help out in something that's so needed, and I know that your friends and family are gonna really appreciate it. Going through difficult times or exciting times, like having a new baby or a new job or moving, they're exciting, but it takes so much out of you. It's really draining. And if you can just take the food off the plates of the people in your life during those times, it is so helpful because then they can focus on all of these things that are so much more important. Maybe you don't have time to actually cook the meal and bring it to your loved ones, but that's not the only way that you can help out with food. There are so many other ways that you can bless people with food without actually cooking it yourself. You can buy them some groceries or get them a gift card to a grocery store, get them some takeout or gift cards to some of their favorite restaurants. It's so nice to have those gift cards for the nights when nobody's bringing you food and you're not feeling well or are too busy to cook. If you are gonna cook the food, then I suggest that you make something that reheats very well, that you don't have to serve it immediately, because it makes it so much easier for them to serve it whenever they're ready to eat. And if they have leftovers, they can reheat them easily. Keep that in mind when you're bringing the food to them. When you're bringing a meal, make sure that you have everything that needs to go with the meal. So if you're bringing pasta sauce and meatballs, then it might be nice to include a box of spaghetti in there. So in case they don't have any pasta in the house, they won't need to go to the store to be able to eat this meal. It's also a big plus if you can also include like a salad to go along with this, so they have a full meal that they can enjoy. I think soup is a really great option to bring to people, especially those who just had a baby or are going through some health challenges. Soup is so comforting. So bring some soup, maybe some bread or rolls or biscuits to go along with it. It's gonna be so awesome. People really love to get soup. Another great option is to think about bringing breakfast foods instead of a dinner. A lot of people will bring dinners, but most people don't think about breakfast. Breakfast is such a great option because so many breakfast items are perfect to be reheated, and they're just great to take to somebody, like muffins. You can make pancakes and people can just put them in the toaster, or waffles. A quiche is something that they can even freeze and then reheat or put into their oven. And there's just so many options like that breakfast is a great idea. You can also stop by a bagel store and get them a box of bagels with cream cheese or whatever. Make a basket of breakfast items. And it's just such a nice touch, and people usually love breakfast food. So I think that's a really awesome option to consider. If you want some ideas of actual meals that you can bring to people, I've got so many different ideas for you. So I'll leave a link to the blog post that I wrote, which has tons of recipes, lots of different ideas, so you can check that out. If you're bringing food to people, please don't use your baking dishes, your pots, or your pans that they're gonna have to wash and return to you. Use disposable containers. That is the best way to go. That's one less thing for them to worry about. And that way they're not gonna have to remember who gave this to them, find a way to give it to you and return it somehow. Disposable is the best in this case. People are often nervous about bringing food to people who were hospitalized or had surgery. They're wondering if maybe they're on a special diet, or they don't know what they can or can't eat. So they just don't know what to bring, or if they even should bring any food. The best way to deal with this is just to ask, and people will tell you. Even if the person who was in the hospital or had surgery can't eat much or is on a special diet, think about their families. They still need to eat, and they're probably not on a special diet. So it's so nice when they can get some homemade food or bring them some takeout. And it's so awesome when people think about them. I know when I was in the hospital, so many times I wasn't really eating anything at all, but I loved it when they would bring my husband food. It just made me feel so good that he was eating something delicious, because I know he was always eating that hospital food. So it was such a nice change when somebody would bring him takeout or his mom would bring food from home. So it's great. So think about that too. If you know somebody who has a really big family and you think like, oh, they don't need anything, they're taken care of, their fridge is probably busting with food, I'm here to tell you that it's probably not the case. Maybe it's because everybody else assumes the same thing or what, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'll really appreciate some food or some groceries. Just ask them. I also think it's great to think about bringing food maybe a few weeks after they had the baby or had surgery or moved, because everybody kind of brings you everything right when something is happening. But a little while later, you're still adjusting to being new parents. You're not getting enough sleep. Maybe you're recovering, or you moved and a bunch of stuff is still in boxes and everybody brought you food for the first few days, but then you're kind of on your own and you've still got so much going on. It's so appreciated when somebody thinks of you a few weeks later, because I'm telling you, recovery takes a long time, and moving and adjusting to a new house or a new job takes a long time. So it's really great when people can still be supporting you a little while later. And that's why gift cards are so cool, because you can use them way down the road when you're still in the thick of things, but everybody else has moved on. People will tell you all the time, let me know if you need anything. I'm available to help with anything that you want. Just let me know. But that is such a wishy-washy promise, and people are not going to actually ask you. If you're going to give them gift cards, don't even ask, just give it to them. But if you're going to bring them a meal, just say, I would love to bring you dinner. What time would be best for you? This time or this time? When you go to deliver the food, bring it by, drop it off, and leave. Tell them you've got errands or you need to go somewhere. Most people have so much going on. Their house is probably a mess. They're probably a mess. Maybe they're not feeling well. Maybe they're exhausted. They don't want to think about cleaning their house, getting themselves ready, taking a shower, and entertaining you. Even if they're not going to tell you this, trust me, that's how it is. Unless it's somebody you know really well, maybe it's a close friend or a family member, and if they're begging you to stay and chat, then stay, but only for a little while as well. I suggest not more than half an hour. If they've convinced you to come in and visit for a while, then please don't come in and eat all their food. Maybe they do have some food in the house because they prepped it in advance because they knew that this was coming into their life, but it's not helpful when you have a bunch of people come and eat all of the food that you worked so hard to prepare. If you're staying for a visit, then you bring the food, either dinner or something for coffee and tea, so that way they won't have to worry about it. A few bonus tips if you want to go the extra mile. If you want to bring something in addition to the food, a great option is to bring some books or magazines. Being in the hospital or having a new baby, there's long periods of time when it's really boring. There's nothing much to do. So it's really awesome when you can have some reading material or look through some magazines. So that's a really good one. If there are children in the family, it's really nice when you can bring something for them too, like a new toy or a book, some coloring books and crayons or something like that. It's something new for them to play with, and I'm sure the parents will really appreciate having something new for the children to be occupied with. Let's have some compassion and provide really practical care to our family and friends in a time when they need it the most. Life is full of both celebrations and challenges, ups and downs, and it's so awesome when we have people in our life who choose to be involved, who choose to lend a hand and give us the care that we need. Not only is it helpful in a physical way, but it's so heartwarming knowing that you have people in your life who really care and want to be part of what you're going through. I can tell you that when you're going through difficult things, you really, really appreciate the things that people do for you, and it's something you'll never forget.